Have you ever really stopped to wonder what actually gets people fired up for work? I mean, is it just the money, the fancy title, or maybe the free coffee? Well, it turns out the science of what drives us is way more complex and honestly, way more interesting than you'd think. So let's dive in and unpack the science of motivation together.
All right, so before we jump into all the big theories, we've got to make sure we're all on the same page. What even is this thing we call motivation?
No, seriously, take a second and think about it. What is it for you? Is it the challenge of a new project? Is it the people you work with? Or, hey, is it just that paycheck that keeps the lights on? Whatever your answer is, you're tapping into the very core of what motivates you personally.
Okay, so here's the official kind of textbook definition. But listen, the single most important word on this slide is process. You see, motivation isn't some fixed thing, like you're either a motivated person or you're not. Nope. It's a dynamic process that's always shifting, depending on you, the goal, and the situation you're in. And this process, it's got three key ingredients. First, you've got energy. That's your drive, the intensity, how hard you're willing to try. Then there's direction. Because you can have all the energy in the world, but if it's not pointed toward the right goals, it's wasted. And finally, persistence. Can you keep that effort going even when things get tough? Real motivation needs all three to work.
So to really get a grip on motivation today, we actually have to go back in time a little. These early theories, they were the first real attempts to draw a map of the super complex territory of human drive. And you just can't talk about motivation without starting with this guy. Abraham Maslow gave us one of the most famous models ever for understanding what we as humans really need. Maslow's big idea was that our needs are stacked up in a hierarchy, just like you see in his famous pyramid here. The concept is pretty simple. You have to take care of the basic stuff at the bottom first. We're talking food, water, safety. Only then can you even start to think about the needs higher up the pyramid. And once a need is pretty much met, it kind of stops being a major motivator. All right, after Maslow, Douglas McGregor came along and basically boiled motivation down to a manager's core belief about their team. He posed a question that forces you to pick a side. What's the true nature of a worker? So he laid out two totally opposite points of view. A Theory X manager, they believe people are just lazy, hate work, and need to be constantly watched and controlled. But a Theory Y manager, they believe people actually like to work. They want responsibility, and they can be trusted to manage themselves. McGregor's point was that your assumption actually shapes reality. If you treat people like they're responsible, guess what? They're much more likely to be. Now, this next idea, this one is going to completely flip a common sense assumption right on its head. A guy named Herzberg asked a wild question. What if the things that make you happy at your job are totally separate from the things that make you unhappy? He called them hygiene factors and motivators. Now, hygiene factors are things like your salary, the company rules, your work environment. Getting these right doesn't make you satisfied. It just keeps you from being dissatisfied. Think about it like the Wi-Fi at a coffee shop. You don't go there because of the great Wi-Fi, but you will absolutely get up and leave if it's broken. Motivators, on the other hand, things like achievement, getting recognized, doing meaningful work, that's the stuff that actually makes you feel satisfied. And right here, this is the mind-blowing part. Look at the slide. The traditional way of thinking is just one long line, from satisfied on one end to dissatisfied on the other. Herzberg's view shows two totally separate tracks. Fixing the bad stuff, the hygiene factors like a low salary, just moves you from dissatisfied to not dissatisfied. To actually get to real satisfaction, you have to bring in the motivators. Okay, let's hit the fast forward button and jump to the modern theories. These are the tools backed by decades of solid research that give us a much richer, more complex picture of what really drives us in the workplace today. So a huge shift you'll see in modern theories is the focus on our cognitive processes, what's happening inside our heads. It's not just about our basic needs anymore, it's about how we think. And a perfect example of this is goal-setting theory. You can almost see the DNA of McGregor's Theory Y in here, right? It assumes people want to achieve things. The research here is absolutely crystal clear. Specific and challenging goals lead to way better performance than vague ones like, hey, just do your best. This chart shows you why. When you've got a specific goal and you've bought into it, it creates a real intention to work towards it. Then you mix in things like self-efficacy. That's your belief that you can actually do it, and you get regular feedback on how you're doing. Well, that's the powerful loop that drives performance through the roof. So goals are great, but What happens when you look over at your coworker and you get that little pit in your stomach? That feeling that you're getting a raw deal? Well, this brings us to a deeply, deeply human part of motivation, our need for fairness. Equity theory says we're all constantly doing this kind of mental math. As the slide shows, we take our outcomes, like our pay and recognition, and compare them to our inputs, our effort and skills. Then we look at our coworkers and compare our ratio to theirs. If the scales feel balanced, great, we feel like things are fair. But if we feel under-rewarded, that can lead to frustration and we might pull back on our effort. And get this, even feeling over-rewarded can make us feel guilty or uneasy. It's all about our perception of what's fair. So if goal setting is about where we're going, and equity theory is about whether the journey feels fair, our final modern theory is all about the mental calculation we make before we even take that first step. It's called expectation theory. This model says that our motivation level depends on three crucial links in a chain. First, there's the link between our effort and our performance. Second, the link between our performance and the rewards we get. And third, how much we actually want those rewards. Here's the kicker. If any single one of these links is broken in our mind, our motivation just collapses. You can really boil this whole thing down to three simple questions we ask ourselves, probably without even realizing it. First, if I really pour on the effort, can I actually hit this target? That's expectancy. Second, okay, if I do hit the target, am I really going to get that reward they promised? That's instrumentality. And finally, do I even care about that reward in the first place? That's valence. For your motivation to be sky high, the answer to all three has to be a big, loud yes. So, wow, we've gone from the most basic human needs all the way to these complex mental calculations. What does it all mean at the end of the day when you're trying to motivate someone or even just yourself? If this journey through all these theories shows us one thing loud and clear, it's this. There is no magic bullet. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. Motivating people isn't about finding one single lever to pull. It's about understanding that different things drive different people in different situations. So if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. Real sustainable motivation is a cocktail. It's a mix of all these ideas. It's about meeting our fundamental needs, setting really clear goals, feeling like we're being treated fairly, and truly believing that our hard work will lead to something we actually want. And that leaves us with one final question, and this one is just for you. Looking back on everything we've talked about, from Maslow's pyramid to expectancy theory, what's the single biggest thing that could change at your job to max out your motivation? Is it more recognition, a clearer goal, a stronger sense of fairness? Figuring out your own personal motivation formula, that's the first step to unlocking your absolute best.